In every man's life, there comes a choice between two paths. One, a path full of darkness and treachery. The other, a path that is bright and playful. But what the man doesn't realize is that he must either suffer through the pain and treachery while on the path to success, or suffer through the pain and darkness at the end of the path to failure. Friend the other day, and one of his friends came over and started talking about this new video game that they were playing. I don't remember the name, but I go like, and then he asked me like if I wanted to play it, if like something like that, and I said, why would I want to play a video game, especially a single player video game, when I can just do the same thing in real life? And he goes, well, video games are so much cooler. You get to be this cool guy. And I'm like, well, don't you start out as like a normal kind of bum? And he says, well, I guess so, but it's fun to level up and, grind through it and become like the big, strong king. And I'm like, huh, doesn't that kind of sound like the real world? And he goes, yeah, but it's more fun in a video game. And I ask him why. He says, it's less hard. It's easy, it's fun. I'm like, anything can be fun, but you just don't think that it's fun to do it in the real world. And he says, well, I guess so. I guess it's just easier in the video game. I'm like, yeah, it is, but it's the same idea. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about why I really hate single player video games specifically. So in single player video games, you start out as this normal kind of bummy character. You don't have anything to your name. You're trying to survive on your own, blah, blah, blah. And then as you progress, you start getting more materials, you start leveling up your XP, and you start growing into a better person until you're like the best person in the world. Well, what does that sound like? In life, you start out as sort of a normal kind of bummy person. And if you start grinding, you start working, you're leveling up your XP, you're gaining more resources, more knowledge, and eventually you too can become one of the best people in the world. But so many people would rather spend their time leveling up their XP in video games than in the real world. Think about it this way. Let's say you're playing, I don't know, what's a good one? RuneScape. And to level up the fighting skill, you have to go kill the ox. And when you kill the ox, you get a little bit of fighting skill. And you kill a bunch of them over a lot of days. And eventually you level it up, right? In the real world, let's say you want to level up your fighting skill. What do? Well, you go to a martial arts class. And then, you get a little bit of fighting skill from that. Maybe you try a kickboxing workout at home. You get a little bit of fighting skill from that. And you keep building up that. And then eventually you level up too. But the thing is, in these video games, they give you this illusion of failure, which is what keeps you hooked. In the video game, if you die or if you fail something, you can just respawn or go back to the challenge. Sure, you lose a little bit of stuff, but in the end, you can gain it all back very easily, can't you? But in real life, let's say you fail a test. Even if you do perfectly the rest of the quarter or semester, that test that you failed is still going to dock your grade a bunch. Let's say you have 3 tests and you get a 3 out of 10, a 10 out of 10, and then a 10 out of 10. That averages out to a 23 out of 10, which is about a little less than a B, I believe. It's a little less than a B. Even though you had 2 perfect tests, that 3 out of 10, still hurt you so bad. In the real world, there is so much more stakes added to failure that people cannot cope with it, and they instead fail in video games that allow them to respawn. Because in video games, you're meant to win. Eventually, you're meant to win the game. But in real life, it's not really designed for you to win. It's designed for the best of us to win, but not every single person. So that means if you fail, if you don't do well enough, you don't get to respawn and try again. You have to live out the life that you made for yourself. So don't sit there right now and say, well, I mean, video games are fun. Sure, they can be fun. And I'm not saying that you can't play video games. But my video game time per week is probably maybe 2 hours. The whole week, it's 2 hours. Most people have more screen time per day than I have the entire week. And the reason I play the video games is because, yes, it's fun. I like it. But I do it in the evenings after I've gotten everything done. And I do it with my brothers and my friends. I do it with my neighbors because it builds a stronger bond between us because we're playing together, we're having fun together, you know? And honestly, that's okay. I don't mind if you play video games with your friends when, you've got all your work done and stuff like that. But gosh, these single player video games, like, honestly, for me, it's easy to say this because I never really enjoyed single player video games. So saying don't play single player video games is easy for me because I never really liked to do it anyway. But these single player video games, they just suck all your attention away from what you're doing in the real world. You know, I just recently got in this game called Ark Survival Evolved when I started this journey a year and a half ago about. And one of the things that clicked in my mind very quickly was, you know, in Ark, I can level up by like killing the dinosaurs, and chopping down trees and building things. But in the real world, I'm leveling up right now. And of course, in that moment, I think I was doing bench press. It was some exercise for chest, but it clicked to me that I was gaining XP in my strength skill because I was weightlifting right now. And I thought that was pretty funny. I was like, it's just like the video game. That's what I started to do. I started seeing life as a video game. Start seeing it as everything gaining XP. I was talking to new people because I had recently just started in high school. Leveling up my social skill. Weightlifting levels up my strength skill. Swimming leveled up my endurance skill and my swimming skill. Meditation leveled up my mental health skill. I don't know. Something like that, where everything you're doing is kind of leveling up a skill or kind of leveling down a skill. If I ate a bunch of junk food, it would level down my strength skill, my endurance skill, because it hurts me. It's unhealthy. So, like in a game, you're going to have times where you level up. You're going to level up and you're going to feel great, after a workout. But then you're going to have times that you level down. Like, you have a bunch of junk food and you sit there feeling kind of bad. And what I want you to do is I want you to level up more than you level down. Because let's say you gain 1 XP for doing a workout and then you lose 2 XP for eating junk food. If you go 6 days without eating junk food and you work out every single one of those days, you've gained 6 XP in that 6-day time frame. And then let's say you work out on the 7th day too. There's 7 XP in that time. And then you eat junk food on the last day after you're done your workout. You lose 2 XP. So over the week, you still gained 5 XP. Because we're not expecting this journey to be perfect. We're not expecting it to be a straight line going up or even an exponential line going up, because that's really what it looks like. We're really expecting it to be like, kind of a wavy line. I don't know what that noise was, but a wavy line. It's not ever going to be perfect. Just like in a video game, you're going to die sometimes. You're going to lose some stuff. And same thing in the real world. You're going to make mistakes. But when your successes outweigh your mistakes, that's when true success will happen. So don't worry too much about your mistakes. Just worry about outweighing them with your successes. All right. I hope this video helped. Remember, do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. I love you guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.